Ladies and gentlemen, in opposition, there are three people who can become presidential candidates there. Number one, it is Rigathi Gachagua. Number two, it is Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Number three, it is Dr. Fred Matiang'i. So William Ruto's campaign team, William Ruto's strategies are revolved around these three. Whenever William Ruto's men are speaking, or even William Ruto himself, they are always directing their attacks to these three people. Now, lately, when we have Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka being attacked by President William Ruto and his men, people in William Ruto's camp talk about track record, especially those from the Kamba region. They accuse of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka not even making a road heading to his home. Now, when it comes to Rigathi Gachagua, they are trying to accuse him to be a tribalist. You can hear Farouk Kibet calling him tribalist, others calling him Mr. Shares. So such kind of sentiments are being made. When it comes to Dr. Fred Matiang'i, they are also trying to counter his campaign strategy, which is revolved around issues. And as we speak today, we have to agree one simple thing, that William Ruto and his men are also focused to counter Dr. Fred Matiang'i based on his track record. Why am I saying this here? You've seen William Ruto launch houses, trying to talk about development projects, what his government has done, which is basically known to him and his people, but not the common Mwananchi. And when I look at all this, it's basically a strategy to try and counter, or maybe create a ground for them to counter Dr. Fred Matiang'i's move, or maybe movement within the country when he comes back from the United States of America. And from there, I can conclusively say that William Ruto right now is in panic and fear as far as Dr. Fred Matiang'i's impact when he comes back to the country is concerned. That is going to form the basis of this analysis here, where I'm going to show you why President William Ruto fears Dr. Fred Matiang'i. But before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mukwa Times, please take a second or two to subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. My number is always here. For those who want to engage me, first, for those who want to support the channel, you're highly welcome. That's the M-Pesa number. Number two, for those who want to talk to me, encourage me, and actually enlighten me further on politics, please feel free to do so. Now, let me give you 2 seconds to subscribe before I proceed. Thank you so much for subscribing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you one simple thing here. Actually, two. William Ruto and Matiang'i worked in the same government for 10 years. While William Ruto was a deputy president, Matiang'i occupying various positions within Uhuru Kenyatta's government. Now, secondly, William Ruto and Matiang'i have won an election twice in this country. Matiang'i was also a cabinet secretary, and William Ruto was a deputy president. During this time, for those who are keen in politics, could hear that Matiang'i was the person working behind the scenes, especially as far as the technology is concerned. He had his team. So therefore, these two people have worked together and they've won an election in this country. Now, when we say that William Ruto fears Dr. Fred Matiang'i, he knows that the potential candidate, one of the potential candidates from the opposition side is Matiang'i. And he has reasons as to why he has to fear this gentleman. Number one reason that I want to talk about here is this. The fact that Matiang'i has a track record. I've told you that they have worked in the same government, subjected to the same president, subjected to the same Kenyans. And there's one thing that came out. Dr. Fred Matiang'i stood out as the performing person in Uhuru Kenyatta's government. During that time, William Ruto actually literally was meant to launch projects across the country that did not exist. In case he launched even a KMTC, that is not there. He went to various parts of this country and he has been exposed by Murara Kibaso. Launching projects somewhere, putting a stone, yet there's no project, just basically to entice Kenyans. During Uhuru Kenyatta's time, we realized that William Ruto literally absconded duties until Matiang'i was given the role of being the chief cabinet secretary, at least to ensure that there's performance in Uhuru Kenyatta's government. So that is why we are saying that William Ruto fears Matiang'i, because he knows the track record of Matiang'i. He cannot at any point try to get near. So he has to try his best to launch some projects in this country, which might appear that William Ruto is working so that at least in the campaigns is going to counter Dr. Fred Matiang'i on the basis of track record. So that is the track record number one. Number two, that's the reason number one. Number two, It is the friendship of Dr. King Fred Matiang'i with other political leaders in this country. Let me just tell you one simple thing. One of the most cleverest politicians in this country who was well taught by Moi is Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila Amolo Odinga is a genius when it comes to staying in opposition, blackmailing government, and ensuring that despite being a serious antagonist in an election, he eventually ends up in government. But on becoming a leader, taking over government, Uhuru Kenyatta is a guru. This is one man who was able to manage Raila Amolo Odinga without giving him a seat. This is one man who was able to beat Raila Amolo Odinga without giving him any seat. This is one man who managed to actually become a president twice despite having very strong opponents. Let me tell you, in 2013, Raila Amolo Odinga and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka were both from government, one as a prime minister and one as a vice president. But these people were not able to manage Uhuru Kenyatta. He was able to calculate and decide who becomes his running mate. He saw Gideon Moi is a bit slower. He's not political as such. Then he went for William Ruto. That is how smart Uhuru Kenyatta was. Despite having cases in the Hague, Uhuru Kenyatta managed to beat Raila Amolo Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka on issues. That's number one. Number two, you realize that Uhuru Kenyatta in 2018, he realized that in this country, Ruto had left him and Raila Amolo Odinga is in opposition. He came up with a handshake which eventually enabled him to run the country for 4 years or maybe 5 years smoothly. That is what we call being smart. If he could not have done that, I'm telling you, Uhuru could have had difficult times because William Ruto was focused on becoming a president in this country, so he wanted to make a name by himself, and the only option he has was to criticize government. And then Raila Amolo Odinga also was also determined to ensure that he has made it horrible for President Uhuru Kenyatta to run this country. So Uhuru Kenyatta had to have Raila Amolo Odinga on board, at least one of these allies to be with him. And it could be difficult to trust William Ruto than trusting Raila Amolo Odinga. So that's how Raila Amolo Odinga managed to become Uhuru Kenyatta's ally for 4 years and eventually at least tame President William Ruto. Ladies and gentlemen, another reason I feel strongly that William Ruto fears Dr. King Fred Matiang'i, it's the connection that he has with the fellow Kenyans in each and every day. This connection comes from the track record, in that when people see yellow buses, they say these were introduced by Fred Matiang'i, basically to bring recognition and identification of the school buses, our children back in schools, so that in case there's a problem, someone is able to note that those are school children, that is a school bus. In Nairobi, literally, you see some buses being excused, given some space because they're carrying school kids. That is what you call the connection. Secondly, for those who actually follow exams done in this country, you can always see that whenever there are exams being announced, if there's any form of cheating that is mentioned, you realize that, or maybe even during when exams are being done, when there's any form of cheating, people will always remember Matiang'i. If it is Matiang'i, this could not have happened. This cabinet secretary cannot match Matiang'i. So that connection, it is still there. To get rid of that connection, it's very difficult. Lastly, for those who remember the digital or the analog digital migration, we always remember when you have TVs, people say, were it not for Matiang'i, by now we could not be here. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the connection that gives President William Ruto sleepless nights. Now, another thing I want to say here is the difference between him and William Ruto. The reason I feel strongly that William Ruto fears Matiang'i, it's the difference that exists between him. When Matiang'i speaks, you see leadership. When William Ruto speaks, you see promises and just empty talks. What do I mean by that? Right now, nobody can convince a common Kenyan that William Ruto is not a liar. Nobody can convince him. Nobody can convince any Kenyan right now that William Ruto does not lie. Why? Because of the way he has been operating. Projects have been promised. Youths have been promised. Women have been promised. Boda boda have been promised. People have been promised. And eventually William Ruto keeps promising until now. So therefore, the fact remains that that character difference, it really degrades President William Ruto entirely. Now, also we have to remember this. Dr. King Fred Matiang'i has strategies which stress President William Ruto. Matiang'i always deals with data. Before he makes a step, he first gathers information. As we speak today, people are seeing him in diaspora asking why he has not come to the country. He knows what diaspora plays. He knows the perception is creating. He knows what he can gain from there. So as we speak today, He's engaging Kenyans in abroad. He's also mostly quiet. William Ruto is wondering, where do I start from before Matiang'i comes? Who is he going to attack? Who is he going to, where is he going to launch his missiles? So William Ruto is in a state of quagmire. He's probably thinking of going to a certain region, like now Kisi here has been sending most of the politicians to come and try to degrade Matiang'i, but they find the ground is already intact for Matiang'i. So, ladies and gentlemen, William Ruto is in a state of quagmire on the basis that he doesn't know what to do as far as Matiang'i's strategies are concerned. Last and but not least, Matiang'i has Gachagua. Gachagua is not a man to underrate. He has won an election for President William Ruto. If Gachagua does not end up in the ballot, then he ends up with Matiang'i. William Ruto knows what will happen. Matiang'i will have the mountain region and eventually become the president of this country very early in the morning. I don't know what's your take, but you can share with me in the comment section on what you think is more dangerous in Matiang'i's side that William Ruto fears most. See you next time for more videos. My name is Abel Mukwa.